This is the Farm Monitor. For over 50 years, your source for agribusiness news and features from around the Southeast and across the country, focusing on one of the nation's top industries, agriculture. The Farm Monitor is produced by one of the largest general farm organizations, the Georgia Farm Bureau. Now here are your hosts, Ray DeLessio and Kenny Bergamy.
Welcome. As you can see, Kenny and I, all smiles. Why so happy, you ask? Well, very simple, because you chose to spend the next 30 minutes with us. And for that, we say thank you.
Yeah, and to show our appreciation, once again, we put together what we think is a really fun show. Straight ahead, throw out the old stereotype of school cafeteria food. Damon Jones reports from Warren County on how school officials there are offering healthier farm fresh options. Also on the program, yes, they're an acquired taste, but even if you're not a fan of pickles, you're going to find it fascinating how these famous brand pickles get from the farm to a store near you.
Plus, it's a side of agriculture we rarely get to see here on the Monitor. Special contributor Logan Barnes takes us inside the world of aerial applications. These stories and so much more starting right now on the Farm Monitor.
When one thinks of a school cafeteria, things like square pizza and corn dogs might come to mind. However, it's a perception Warren County High School is looking to change with its award-winning Farm to Table program. Damon Jones has that story.
Not all school gardens are created equally, and that's very apparent here at Warren County High School, where students help build, maintain, and harvest this plot that grows a little bit of everything.
We grow everything from peppers to tomatoes to watermelon to pumpkins to corn. You name it, we put it in the ground. We have 24 raised beds here on the property. We also have 2 hydroponic programs here as well that are doing our herbs for the kitchen, and it's just a phenomenal program.
It's a curriculum that has already received numerous honors, including the prestigious Golden Radish Award. Quite an accomplishment for a program that didn't even exist just a few years back.
This started about 5 years ago. It was basically a dream. I became the vocational director for the school system here, and at the time we didn't have anybody who was ag certified, so a lot of what I wanted to do was just start a small garden program to give the students the opportunity to come and learn what gardening was.
The work done on this farm also translates to the classroom, as students are able to actually see firsthand some of the lessons they learn from textbooks.
I mean, between the agriculture and the biology, it all ties together. And I don't know if you heard me, but I was asking them why we eat corn. And they said for energy. I said, where does the energy come from? They said from the sun. Okay, and then you eat the corn, and then what happens? And they describe cellular respiration. All that's theory in the classroom, but out here it's real. Kids love it. I mean, if you can deliver instruction the way they like it, the more power to you. You're going to have better results.
And this garden not only serves as an outdoor classroom, but also the main supplier of fresh fruits and vegetables to the school cafeteria.
What we're growing, we can actually collaborate and we can start eating in the cafeteria. And at the same time, Dr. Armstrong came on board, and she became the agriculture teacher. And from there, it just completely blossomed into this wonderful project you now see, which is our Farm to Table program.
With the freshest produce in stock, students now have a much healthier option to choose from in the lunchroom. And so far, they are taking full advantage of it.
Our students have had a higher rate of consumption of vegetables, higher rate of consumption of fruits, and we have lower food waste because of this program. So it has been all the way around such a quality program for our students to be a part of.
It's a program that is also beneficial to the school's bottom line, as they are able to cut out the middleman when it comes to budgeting for groceries.
We have saved on average between $4,000 and $6,000 a year just in our produce, because we're growing our produce out here. So we're saving by not having to buy produce from outside vendors. We're actually harvesting and using what we have to about 75% now capacity of what our standard produce budget is. We're growing on site.
Reporting from Warren County, I'm Damon Jones for the Farm Monitor.
Well, meantime, there was plenty of riding, roping, and wrestling at the St. Jude Rodeo in Ringgold recently, as riders competed in hopes of taking home some cash.
Yes, as John Holcomb reports, it's an event that brings rodeo fans together from all over to watch, as well as help out a great organization in the process.
Each and every summer, rodeo fans from all over gather to watch cowboys and cowgirls try to win some money at the annual St. Jude Rodeo in Ringgold, a rodeo that 100% of the proceeds go to support St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. The rodeo, now in its 22nd year, is put on by the Yates family, a family that knows tragedy all too well and wants to prevent other families from having to go through what they did.
Unfortunately, we lost my brother in a tragic accident, and my father, being the most compassionate person with the biggest heart I know, wanted to give back to an organization where he could help other families never go through the loss of a loved one like he did. So since then, we've put on the rodeo going back to St. Jude.
And just like the saying, it takes a village, it takes all hands on deck to put on each and every year.
I guess you can kind of say we're kind of like our own little event production team, with my dad, Doug Yates, being the lead. You know, we all have our own little parts getting ready for it. And we just have a lot of family members and loyal volunteers that come out every single year to help us put it together and stay long nights, sometimes till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then wake back up the next morning super early and get right back at it.
One of those volunteers is Kelly Hurd, a parent that has supported St. Jude ever since her son Cody was a patient there.
My oldest son was a St. Jude patient. He was diagnosed with neuroblastoma right before he turned 2, and he passed away right before he turned 5. So the rodeo is dear to our heart. My family has made it a mission to raise money and to raise awareness for childhood cancer.
One amazing thing about St. Jude is that they take care of everything, which allows the parents to stay focused on what's important.
You don't have to worry about anything. When my little boy was diagnosed, my husband and I had just bought our first brand new vehicle, and we didn't even know what St. Jude was. And we were met at the door with open arms, and everything was taken care of. I mean, we didn't have to worry about gas, food, lodging, anything. And for someone to be at St. Jude, all they want you to worry about is your child getting better. They don't want you to worry about anything outside of that, and they take care of everything. Ever since her son was there, she has made it a life mission to give back to St. Jude as much as possible. Volunteering is rewarding. While our little boy was sick, we were blessed. We did not do without anything. So to volunteer and try to pay it forward and give back is a life mission. As you can imagine, costs of the hospital are exponential, which is why the Yates family is so invested in putting this rodeo on and donating every single penny. It roughly takes $2 million a day to run the hospital, so anyone that comes here and every single person that attends the rodeo is helping contribute to that $2 million that's needed to run the hospital. Reporting in Ringgold for the Farm Monitor, I'm John Holcomb.
John, thanks so much. Now, after the break, we're taking the Monitor to extreme heights. See what happened when we sent special contributor Logan Barnes to South Georgia to learn all about aerial applications.
All right, welcome back to the Monitor. Now, a few weeks ago, we brought you the story of McClendon Acres and how they are one of only 5 farms nationwide supplying cotton to Wrangler jeans for their Wrangler Rudy collection. Well, during our time there, it was brought to my attention that the McClendons also own an ag application business, or as it's commonly referred to, crop dusting. Well, that got me thinking, wouldn't that make for a great Ag Ventures with Logan? Needless to say, I took a shot and pitched the idea to Farm Monitor special contributor Logan Barnes, and without hesitation, she said, "Are you kidding me? Heck yeah." So thankfully, the McClendon family accommodated our requests. So without further delay, our latest edition of Ag Ventures with Logan.
What's up, everybody? It's Logan again. If there's one thing that I'm just as intrigued in as agriculture, it's flying. And today we're in Calhoun County with Matt Peed. How are you doing?
Hey, Logan.
Thanks
good
for
to see
having
you.
us out. So he is going to teach us a little bit about crop dusting. Can you go in further about your operation and just kind of give an overview of what we're going to be doing today?
Okay, it's commonly or has been referred to in the past as crop dusting, but that's technically somewhat of a misnomer these days. A more accurate this term would be aerial application. In this part of the world, we do a lot of liquid application and a fair amount of dry work as well, with dry fertilizers and cover crop, those sorts of things.
So by liquid application, you mean fertilizer?
Well, we could put out liquid fertilizers, but we also do fungicides and herbicide and insecticide work as well. As the airplane is configured now, we have it's configured for liquid application. So here we have our spray pump, which is wind driven, which pumps liquid out of the hopper, which is a tank, sits right in the center of the airplane. When we're doing liquid application, the main concern is mitigating any kind of off-target drift. So every year we pattern test these aircraft both for liquid and dry. This airplane is equipped with flow control, so much like all of our ground rigs now and our tractor sprayers are equipped with flow control. So with an airplane, you're upwind, downwind, so your ground speed's going to vary. So that flow controller will read ground speed differences and make adjustments so you're putting out the same gallons per acre upwind or downwind. Here are some of the controls. We have, for application, we have two levers here. One operates the spray valve to turn the spray on and off. And then we have what's known as the dump handle or the dry handle. And that's for when we're configured for dry applications to open and close the gate at the bottom of the hopper for dispensing fertilizers or seed.
Well, Matt, this flying saucer looking thing caught my eye. Can you explain what this is?
Yes, I can. This is a spreader. This is what we use on the airplane to put out dry material. So dry material could cover anything from seed, fertilizer, the dry pelletized fertilizer, or some herbicides are put out in granular form. But around here we mainly use this for cover crop application and doing dry fertilizer work. Out in the Delta, if you like to eat rice and gravy, most of the rice grown in the U.S. is planted and fertilized and sprayed with an airplane. So you can do a lot of planting with an airplane. I've personally planted lots of rice, soybeans, wheat, cow pasture, ryegrass, those sorts of things. I've planted all that stuff with an airplane, and it does a wonderful job if your airplane's set up correctly.
Well, Matt, thanks for having me out. I got to get back to the office.
Oh, no. You got to go for a ride.
Well, Matt, that was the best time I've ever had. How did I do?
You did great. You did great.
Well, thanks for having us out. That was awesome.
Glad to have you guys.
And we'll see you next time on Ag Ventures with Logan.
She's a trooper, isn't she? Great job, Logan. And folks, as we always say, if you missed any part of the story or others on today's program, you can still see them in their entirety at our YouTube channel, The Farm Monitor. The list of stories virtually endless. Okay, maybe not endless, but it does go all the way back to 2009.
And if you do happen to get through all those videos, keep clicking and like the Farm Monitor Facebook page. Send us some feedback as well. If you have a story idea or if you just want to leave us a comment or suggestion, send us a message either on Facebook or at the address on your screen, that is news@farm-monitor.com. After the break, a story you really need to stick around to see because we think it's delicious.
Dill, kosher, bread and butter, whatever your pickle preference, it all starts on farms like Brian Curry's. He's been growing cucumbers near Hale Center in West Texas for about 10 years. He also grows corn, wheat, and cotton. But on his farm, pickles are a big deal.
We started raising pickles in 06 or 07. And we raise them for Best Made. We fertilize the ground, we plow it, we get the ground ready to plant, then Best Made's equipment comes in, they plant and they harvest, and all we have to do is keep them irrigated during the year.
Brian grows every cucumber with Texas pride. Like him, Best Made was born and raised in the Lone Star State. It's Texas' only major pickle company. In the 1920s, Mildred Dawson was selling pies door to door. She started using the leftover egg yolks to make mayonnaise and sandwich spread. Sandwich spread needs relish. When the relish company went up on their pickle prices, she started growing her own cucumbers. Now 90 years and 4 generations later, Best Made is almost entirely pickles.
Best Made's unique from anybody else selling cucumbers in Texas because they are grown in Texas. They're a Texas product. Texas farmers are growing them. They enjoy doing it. It's a fun crop for them. We have about 2,900 acres to 3,000 acres that we plant every year.
Brian raises about 300 of those acres. He works closely with folks like Steven to make sure Best Made gets the fruit they need. About 60% of the pickles in Best Made jars are from this area, northwest of Lubbock. The hot days, cool nights, and low humidity of West Texas are perfect for growing these future snacks.
My best yield's been 386 bushels to the acre. And they've started going to picking them a little smaller, so anywhere from 250 to 300 is probably an excellent crop now.
Planting starts at the end of May and goes for 12 weeks, about 40 to 60 acres a day. 45 days later, they're ready. Once Brian's cucumbers are the right size, Best Made brings out 2 self-propelled harvesters. Each machine picks about 50,000 pounds per hour.
We ship to Best Made between 1 inch and 2 inches in diameter. They'll grow a size a day, and a size for us is 1/4 of an inch. We've got about a 24-hour window to really get these things out of the field. Tomorrow they'll be too big.
Once the cucumbers are picked, they are graded, sorted, and loaded into trucks bound for the pickling plant in Fort Worth. About 15 semi-loads of cucumbers will travel from Hale County to Tarrant County every day during harvest. That equals out to around 30 million pounds of pickles.
Chances are if you're eating a pickle in the state of Texas, it probably, even if it's at a restaurant, probably came from Best Made at one point.
Once in the Metroplex, they will either go directly to the plant in Fort Worth to be fresh packed, basically from field to jar in a few days, or they will head to the tank yard in Mansfield to be processed. Then it's time to put them in the jars. No matter the flavor or the type, everyone from the field to the warehouse takes pride in their part of the pickle.
We take a lot of pride in the fact that we put out the most tightly packed jar on the shelf. You're always going to get a full jar from Best Made. We have extra people on the line that make sure that we get that last pickle in the jar.
Best Made pickles have a stronger dill flavor than most brands. Since they only ship to Texas and the surrounding states, they can cater more to Texas tastes. Brian enjoys growing crops that further the Lone Star mystique. As a third-generation farmer, he hopes the farming legacy continues with his sons. Maybe they will be the next generation of pickle producers.
I'm hoping one of these days I can pass this on to my kids. I would honestly like to switch to mostly pickles, but it's very finicky and it's a pretty high-risk crop. I hope we can raise this for a long time. I love this crop.
For TFB News, Ed Wolf, Hale Center.
Finally this week, it's a combination of beautiful plant life, agricultural research, and artwork.
Those who visit it may even describe it as an eye-popping experience. Charles Denny has more on the surprises you might see at the UT Gardens.
There's no reason creativity should clash with science. In fact, the two blend nicely. The UT Gardens features butterflies, real ones here and there, but also wooden paintings, a display called Wings of Wonder. Brought to life by 25 talented people, from school children to professional artists, the butterflies are mounted in such a way that they seem to float and flutter in the wind. Sarah Brotz created this piece she titled Radiant Being.
Yeah, so it started out with more like a graffiti feel, and then it morphed from there and definitely went in this very mosaic-y looking, dot painting that it turned into. And it's not how it started, but it definitely came together really nicely with all the different colors incorporated, I feel like.
We have different artists from around the Knoxville area. They're all given about a 2-foot by 2-foot butterfly silhouette made of marine grade plywood so it can stay outside, and then they're asked to embellish it in any way that they feel they want to express.
Before the wooden butterflies were displayed, volunteers coated them with protective seals against the elements, cementing the bright colors. Then the butterflies were installed in the gardens and open to the public with this fun reception. Wings of Wonder highlights the need to protect pollinators.
Horticulture is really the science and art of growing plants.
The gardens are part of the plant science department here at the UT Institute of Agriculture, an experiment that started more than 35 years ago with just a few plants, and today the number totals more than 6,000. There's also research here regarding animal and insect life. In fact, if you're an insect, feel free to check into the garden's Insect Motel. It really comes to life when the sun sets. Here's a description of the motel from the human who designed it.
Large-scale sculptures that are embedded with ultraviolet lights that then glow to attract insects. The insects come, they meet more insects, and they make more insects, and I invite people to watch.
Brandon Belangi with the LSU Museum of Natural Science visited the UT Ag campus recently to talk to people and install the motel. He's both an artist and a biologist.
Not just as artists or scientists, but just as human beings. We're both scientific and we're artistic. We respond to the world around us and each other and other species and the environment analytically, but we also do this poetically and emotionally.
Belangi says combining science with public art is as natural as the plants and bugs who live here. It's a sight to see what the gardens have to offer these days, exhibits that draw attention to the beauty that man creates and the beauty that nature creates. This is Charles Denny reporting.
Charles, thank you very much, but an even bigger thanks to you for checking out the Farm Monitor.
That's going to do it for this week, but a reminder before we go, for all the latest ag info regarding food, great recipes, and what's happening down on the farm, be sure you check out our Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest pages. You'll stay informed and see what's up in the world of farming and with us here on the show.
We leave you today with another look at our fearless and adventurous Logan Barnes as she took to the skies above Leary, Georgia.
Have a great week, everybody.